What is cybersecurity and why is it important? In a year when everything seems to have a permanent solution, corporate cybersecurity incidents remain the biggest issue for startups and stable companies alike. This cybercrime mania has been an ongoing trend year after year, and the stakes are getting higher. The internet is considered the most significant and largest communication medium used in our everyday life. Email, instant messaging, and social networking sites, mainly Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, are being used as channels for sharing information and ideas in our public and private communication. This increase in means of digital communication caused a dramatic surge in data privacy and security vulnerabilities too. These susceptibilities are the exact reasons why cybersecurity attacks are frequently seen in media reports nowadays. Cybersecurity attacks targeting personal and private information are continuously increasing, making prevention difficult. Known corporate cybersecurity attacks, such as data breaches, have made colossal headlines across the globe. A data breach is unauthorized access or exposure of private information to unofficial parties. It poses a severe threat to any organization around the world. It also affects the organization's revenue through loss of money, as well as causing significant reputational damages to its customers and partners. In 2016, Yahoo Incorporated announced that a data breach happened sometime in 2013 and 2014. The first cybersecurity attack occurred in 2013, in which 1 billion Yahoo user accounts were compromised. It was believed that an unauthorized third party stole Yahoo users' data, such as names, birthdays, telephone numbers, email addresses, hashed passwords, and encrypted and unencrypted security questions. The second incident happened in 2014, when state-sponsored hackers compromised another 500 million Yahoo user accounts. These corporate cybersecurity attacks led to an increase in demand for heightened cybersecurity practices. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting sensitive data and defending systems and networks against damage, unauthorized use or modification, and exploitation. You, as a corporate employee, depend on technology for everything. Hence the reason consistent enhancements in cybersecurity are so vital. Being aware of today's most prevalent and dangerous threats reduces cybersecurity-related risks among organizations. Cybersecurity awareness helps you understand the nature of cybersecurity threats, how essential security is to the company, and why cybersecurity threats should be avoided. It will also help address one of the most significant factors in major cybersecurity breaches: human error. The key to solving cybersecurity risks inherent with employee behaviors is to have consistent and comprehensive SIA cybersecurity awareness training programs. The goal of SIA cybersecurity awareness training for corporate employees is to protect yourself and your company against cyber attacks. It is of utmost importance that all employees are familiar with the latest emerging cybersecurity threats, how they can be identified, and what procedures should be followed when reporting a possible threat. By partnering with SIA, you will be familiar with social engineering attacks, how dangerous phishing and malware are, how can we safeguard your work accounts, and the benefits of secured internet usage so your company can enjoy a cyber threat-free environment. So what are we waiting for? Let's start by having a detailed discussion of the first cybersecurity threat we should be wary of: social engineering.
Common Cybersecurity Terms Part 1. In order to understand cybersecurity as a subject, we must first understand the terminology that's used to explain and describe the concepts that are involved. Often the terminology is compressed into acronyms, which are easier to speak. Example: single words that are created by combining the first letter of each word in the terminology to create a secondary smaller word that represents the terminology. For example, we all know that CEO is an acronym for Chief Executive Officer, a title that refers to the person leading a company or organization. We can start with information security or IS, which refers to both the confidential information companies protect in order to stay competitive and the process by which that information is protected. IS consists of three subcategories: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These subcategories broadly describe the states that confidential information must remain in. For example, a memo or other form of indirect communication must only ever be seen by the person sending it and the person it is being directed to. If a company's CFO sends a memo to the CEO and no one sees or reads it but them, we can say that confidentiality has been maintained. However, if that memo is sent electronically and is intercepted by an employee who doesn't have the authority to read it, that memo and the information in it could be altered. In this situation, the integrity or validity of the memo has been compromised. A memo that is sent from a higher-level manager to a group of employees under his observation must be accessible to everyone in that group, but only to those people. This is what availability means. Availability distinguishes between those who are authorized to see the memo and those who aren't, and creates a situation that makes this possible. These three elements of information security are collectively referred to as the CIA: confidentiality, integrity, availability triad. A good example of IS would be the Manhattan Project. Today it is well known, but during its productive phase, when the USA was creating the first atomic bomb, it was a well-kept secret. Revealing the project publicly would have forced other countries to mimic it, destroying the tactical advantage it provided the American government. Therefore, the term IS refers not just to the critical information, but also the effort to maintain its secrecy. Unfortunately, time often dissipates information security and the information becomes publicly available. Example: the Manhattan Project giving way to the 1950s Soviet-American Cold War. This transition from secrecy leads to further concepts we must understand: vulnerabilities, threats, and exploits. A vulnerability is a flaw within the system that could allow the system to be compromised, but which can be treated or fixed. For example, a line of computer code that allows unintended actions by a user would be a vulnerability. To fix it, a programmer would only need to replace that computer coding with an alternative line. A threat is something that could compromise a system. Unlike vulnerabilities, threats are external and often beyond control, such as adverse weather or electrical outages. An exploit is when a hacker discovers and uses the system's weakness, vulnerability, or threat to invade the system for illicit reasons. In our next lesson, we'll take a closer look at vulnerabilities and threats and discuss what ISOs are and why they're important. Common Cybersecurity Terms Part 2. As mentioned in Lecture 3, vulnerabilities are flaws in the system that can lead to exploits. These flaws are often unintentional, but they can have serious consequences. In some cases, they can result from an administration attempting to take shortcuts as a cost reduction strategy. However, they can also result from employee negligence or lack of awareness. ISO strategies are policies and procedures designed to minimize or eliminate such weaknesses. We will discuss the importance of employee attention to cybersecurity in a later chapter. Threats are the most serious of the weaknesses that can injure a business or organization. They usually fall into one of the two categories: natural or man-made. Natural threats can include adverse weather, flooding caused by adverse weather, earthquakes or tornadoes, and so on. They are unpredictable and therefore require effective pre-planning in order to be dealt with. Natural threats can also include humidity and overheating of computer equipment or the environment the equipment is located in. Man-made threats, on the other hand, usually originate from employees who have limited access to the system or hackers who use a system's weaknesses against it. Threats from employees can be intentional or unintentional. From hackers, the threats are always intentional. Intentional threats spring from a variety of motivations. They can be political or cultural in nature, religiously or economically inspired, prompted for individual personal reasons, or simply done in an effort to gain personal attention. In some rare instances, they may be motivated out of a need to seek revenge for some real or imagined slight or embarrassment. These situations are more popularly referred to as cyberstalking, which escalates from stalking into some direct form of action or attack against a person or organization. The term ISO stands for International Organization Standardization. In plainer language, it suggests a system that is standardized worldwide, so that all computerization of systems is identical from one nation or culture to the next. This standardization includes procedures for protecting an organization's physical premises. Example, their headquarters and satellite offices, their computer equipment and networks, their staff policies, emergency procedures, and any other matters that may adversely affect cybersecurity. The term risk refers to the possibility of a system being infiltrated and attacked. Risk management refers to the efforts made by an organization's management, and to a lesser extent, the organization's management, to minimize or eliminate any potential risks. This includes developing and implementing policies and procedures to promote cybersecurity, as well as maintaining current cybersecurity policies, procedures, and practices. Protocols that have been created in response to risk management results are referred to as the ISMS, Information Security Management System. ISMS also includes the policies and procedures an organization adheres to. Example, what they do and how they do it. The global ISO includes a baseline of what is required from organizations to maintain cybersecurity, referred to as MIS, Minimum Information Security Standards. There are numerous ISOs, but the most familiar and popular of these is ISO 27001. This ISO outlines in clear detail what is needed in order to create a cybersecurity system, install it and operate it, as well as observe the system. Further recommendations suggest how to maintain the system, periodically review it, and make alterations where necessary. There are two versions of this ISO, ISO 27001-2005 and ISO 27001-2013. The latter of these is the one most commonly used. In the next section, we will take a closer look at ISOs and their specific details.